United States of America. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, what that means is we have to have more domestic oil production in the United States, and that means we have to drill in Anwar. Have to. Mark Warner says no drilling in Anwar. We know we have to go offshore and explore offshore and do the kinds of explorations necessary to find more domestic oil production. And that's what we have to do, and we Republicans will stand for that, for these working people everywhere. Mark Warner says now he doesn't know how he feels about it, but when he had a bill come to his desk, he vetoed it, and he stopped offshore drilling across Virginia. Now we can have a big balanced program for energy security. We have to be prepared to use coal. We have the largest repository of coal in the entire world, in the United States of America, and we have to use it. And we have to move on towards nuclear capability as well, and more nuclear power for our electricity. We have to build more refineries. We have to use renewable energy to be sure, and we have to have conservation, but we have to do something about these high gas prices. Now this is not the program of the liberal Democrats in Washington, D.C., who ignore the wishes of independents and some of the members of their own party in this area. They live in an ivory tower in Washington, D.C., these liberal Democrats in Washington. Their policy is no more oil. Just yesterday, Mark Warner was in Fredericksburg, and he told the press there that what we need to do as a country is we have to wean ourselves off of oil. I'm here to tell Mark Warner that that desk clerk living in a rural community, working 2 jobs, and putting $75 worth of gas in her car every week knows that she can't wean off oil now. We have to do something to help her out and help out all Virginians across the entire state, across the nation. You know, we stand with regular working people out here, people under distress right now. They're looking for help, and they're looking for somebody to stand up for them. And they have the right to believe, that government at least is not going to add to their burdens. But we know this, we put federal tax cuts in place in 2001 and 2003, and we know that if they go away, it will mean a dramatic tax increase. Now, let me say this to you. The Democrats are fond of saying that the tax cuts that have been in place are just for the rich. Let me tell you what happens if those tax cuts go away. The marriage penalty goes up. The death tax goes way up. The child credit goes away and taxes go up for people with children. Brackets will be increased across the board. Higher dividend costs. The death tax goes up. This is significant just for regular people out there. If these go, it means a major tax increase. The Democrats in Washington, D.C. just insist on increasing taxes on regular people out there as a matter of some type of ideology. We Republicans have to stand for the common sense approach of standing for regular people out there. And I say those tax cuts stay, and Mark Warner says they should go, in whole or in part. In fact, he said they were immoral, those tax cuts. I say they stay for the regular working people of this state. United States. Now, when Mark Warner ran for governor, he said he wasn't going to increase our taxes. Liar! Well, when Mark Warner runs the United States Senate and says he's going to raise your taxes, you better believe it, because that's what he's going to do. Mark Warner will be on TV next week. He has been getting a lot of contributions from organizations called Act Blue, a liberal organization that's been organizing pour money into liberal candidates across the country, and Mark Warner is getting that money. He's going to spend some of it next week, but when you see him on TV next week, you tell all your friends and your neighbors and everybody there that the Mark Warner you see on that TV ad is not the Mark Warner you will see in the United States Senate. About the safety of this nation. I am a United States Army veteran. John McCain is a United States Navy veteran. And we stand for these men and women who shoulder the arms and go out there and stand up for this country in foreign seas. Our soldiers, men and women everywhere, our naval people, they are the greatest people in the world. core commission for Homeland Security that I chaired for 5 years. And many of the recommendations were adopted in order to make this country safer. Where's been the response of the liberal Democrats in Washington as they looked at our report? Our report pointed out how key police, fire, and rescue are in terms of preparing this country for Homeland Security. Our local responders, what's been the Democrats, liberals in Washington, D.C., their response just a short while back, the United States Senate Democrats voted unanimously for public employee collective bargaining of our first responders. That's their response. Virginians have never stood for anything like that. Every Democrat voted for it, including Senator Jim Webb. And every Republican voted against it, including Senator John Warner. And I have asked now, and I ask again, where would Mark Warner be in this? Would he stand with his Democrats, or would he break ranks? It's time now to get an answer. We're going to reach in this campaign for the independents and Democrats as well as our unified Republican Party. That is what we will do and we must do. And I want to say this to you. We're going to broaden this party. And people who say that you can't win in Northern Virginia are just flat wrong. We can win in Northern Virginia, and we will.